live from New York. I will make a retraction.
Thank you. Don't you
I'm turning off my
futz
phone.
around with this.
Yesterday I said that when we were on a flight together, you took off your socks and exposed your bare feet.
Nick.
Correct.
Yes, of course, not yet.
Don't leave it open.
No.
Uh-huh.
You actually didn't.
Thank you.
You instead took off your shoes and exposed your dirty white,
Okay.
gross
They
socks.
weren't gross. First of all, they just weren't. They weren't designer like you wear. That's all. And check our social media video because Wild's like, you can't take your shoes off on a plane unless you have fancy socks. Said by the man who wears nothing but fancy socks. He's out here shopping at the Ralph Lauren store behind Jason Momoa buying fancy socks.
General purpose
Everybody knows
Nike
that.
socks. Even if they were gray, I would be okay
gray
with
or black. And
It's
clean.
fine.
Exactly.
Or brand
White, dirty
white with
white.
a
They
layer.
weren't
Thank
How
you.
about
dirty.
white clean?
They weren't
White
dirty.
clean, fine.
That's
brand
what they
new.
were.
Wow,
They
they
were
were
brand
that
new.
dirty?
No, you walked through TSA with it.
No,
you
I
were walking
pre-check.
around
I
the
don't even have
airport,
to have
no
it.
shoes.
You're wrong, and little known fact about me, I'm a one-wear sock guy. It's the only thing.
Wait, what?
It's my only
What?
extravagancy. Yeah.
You only wear a pair of socks
toss
one
them.
time?
Yeah, toss them. That's
That is
right.
not. That's something from like MTV
That's
Cribs.
crazy. Really?
That's not. Okay.
That's the. Then how were they?
So
what were
you're
you-
buying socks like every month?
Auto renew. Does it show up at the house?
That's ecologically
It's not.
irresponsible.
I
don't
give them away.
understand that.
It's not worth working as hard as I do if you don't spoil yourself sometimes.
Today,
New socks.
Mahomes as an underdog. Are we underestimating the best quarterback in the league? Some people have a change of heart in this one.
This guy.
Meanwhile, news this morning, Brock Purdy out for up to 5 weeks, maybe more. This is not good. Is the 49ers season already on the ropes, or can Mac Jones save an entire coast? And finally, the most inspirational segment in all of sports. It's the Bud List with some great analysis coming up in the Bud List. I saw a little sneak preview.
Wow.
It's not spoiling
It's
it,
always great.
but a little.
Was that a little backhanded
Yeah.
compliment?
And this week, the Bud List will be interesting. What the hell?
Right. What's up with that?
I like when Brou gets to flex off his boxing muscles a little bit.
And today, Weird and Wonderful won't be boring.
It actually will. It's just like all baseball, a little Chris Godwin practicing. It's not boring, but it doesn't have slices of life. I like to do worldwide of sports.
Yeah, of course.
On the globe. Nick Wright, Kevin Wildes, Chris Broussard. We are starting with the Eagles in Kansas City. They are favored by 1.5. Now, there's no Rashee Rice. No official word on Xavier Worthy.
He's not playing.
When is the official word?
It came out yesterday from me. I
Wow,
told
that's-
everyone.
oh, wow, that's cool.
He's out this week.
The official word. It's been 184 days since the Super Bowl, but Jalen Hurts says it's brand new teams. Take a listen.
It's just another opportunity for us. That's been my approach on it. We got a lot that we can learn from this past week. We know we're playing a really good team. It's a new team, and we're a new team. But just approaching it with that mentality and just taking really a day at a time with our preparation.
Just locked in 24/7. We showed this graphic yesterday, Super Bowl runner-ups in the rematch the next season. Nobody wins except when the Eagles won against the Chiefs. Are the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, and the great Travis Kelce being underestimated?
Unquestionably. And it's proven on the screen by the fact that it says Eagles -1.5 at Kansas City.
Yep.
Being a home underdog is wildly insulting. It's happened once before in Patrick's career. Now, it was to the Bills. They did lose that game. But and this really isn't, this part of it is not a Chiefs-specific point. I will get Chiefs-specific points. It's what I said during Nick's picks on Friday about the Bills. Josh Allen and the Bills were a home underdog, and it was wildly insulting. If you are one of the premier teams in the league with one of the premier quarterbacks in the league, you should not be a home underdog. Typically, that has been the case. Like Josh hadn't been a home dog in years since he'd been Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. Patrick's been a home dog once prior in his life or in the pros. Yep. And here's the other piece of it. That's the generic piece to the Chiefs. I just want to remind America before the Super Bowl rematch who the Chiefs are. They have made 5 of the last 6 Super Bowls, the only team ever to do that. They have the most wins of any team in football history over 7 years. We are in the midst of that. They are in the midst of the second longest conference championship streak ever, the second longest division championship streak ever, and the third longest double-digit win streak ever. I know we are a whole one game into this season that they didn't look great in, but the idea that we have flipped so quickly from if the Chiefs win this game, they're the greatest team of all time, to the Chiefs deserve to be home dogs to an Eagles team that did not look great in week 1 is an outrage. So yes, they're being underestimated, Brou.
You left something out when you read their very distinguished resume. They were down 34-0 to this team that they're about to play.
Did you not hear Jalen Hurts? He said it's a new team.
Yeah. Well, I'm bringing the facts. I mean, that's the problem. You know, I have nothing but respect for the Chiefs, but no, they are not being underestimated. We just watched them lose comfortably, be outplayed throughout the entire game by a team that no one going into the season expected to be a Super Bowl contender. I had them in the playoffs. Other people had them in the playoffs. No one was thinking they're actually maybe one of the best teams in the AFC. They beat the Chiefs handily. The Chiefs are without their 2 best wide receivers. All right? And as I said, the team they are facing, it's not just Baltimore, Buffalo, another elite team in the league. It is a team that has beaten the Chiefs the last 2 times, including once in Kansas City, and then just demolished them the last time they played. So I think it is actually very appropriate that the Chiefs are not favored. I think respect is, I'm not writing the Chiefs off by any stretch. They got the best quarterback in the world. They are champions. They have a lot of heart. They don't want to lose 3 straight games. Like, I'm giving them a shot. But, Nick, if we look at the offensive side of the ball, defense, if you want to say that's up in there, Philly didn't look great. Chiefs looked okay. You know, let's call that a wash.
Sure.
Offensively, certainly Mahomes is the best quarterback. But the weapons outside of that, the offensive line, the receivers, the running back,
the Eagles have
it's
the
not
edge
even
everywhere
close.
else.
Not even just the edge, which I think you'll agree. The decisive edge by a mile. So I just think that I don't think it's disrespectful.
Go ahead, KW.
As you know, I've been singing Jalen Hurts and the Eagles' praises since the Super Bowl. Although I picked
not a day before, but since the Super Bowl.
No, since the Super Bowl, I was like, you know what? I'm still, I know the stats say Eagles, but I'm going to go with Patrick Mahomes. I'm on the verge of changing my mind. And we haven't made our official picks, but I feel like if people watch the show, they think, you know what? Nick might be leaning towards KC.
No, I'm picking the Chiefs.
Okay, we didn't know that. Brou, we don't know where you are.
We don't know where Brou is. We know where I am, and everyone knows where you are.
I keep on moving.
No, but we know where you're
I
landing.
love Patrick Mahomes, and I do think, in all seriousness, this is the time when great players do great things. I think it's unfair to say, like, Jalen Hurts is surrounded by great players. Of course he's great. I think that is unfair. But I do think a mark of a great player is like what we saw with Jalen, the first week. My wide receivers can't get open. I can win this game by myself. Can Mahomes win this game by himself? Maybe. Never lost 3 in a row. Best record after a loss. Now, great, he's got best record for everything. Mahomes 19-4 after a loss. Lamar, Josh.
Danny White.
Danny White was, he'd actually be better off losing and then winning. And then Joe Montana. I just don't throw this graphic, in the garbage. I think that he's a bounce back player. And then, of course, is he friend of the show?
Hold on. So Mahomes, it's also remarkable that Mahomes and Lamar have only lost, 23 and 21 times in their careers, if I'm reading that correctly.
And Danny White, too.
Yeah, right. But go ahead. Sorry.
And then Bobby Stroop, friend of the show, Mahomes' trainer.
Friend of mine.
Friend of the show, that means?
Sure.
No. This rattles me. This is the exact opposite of the famous shot of Jalen Hurts walking past the ESPN picks, and it's Chiefs all across.
But
so this also hits my radar.
So this is my point about being under. And by the way, I want to make it clear, I am picking the Chiefs. I think anybody that acts like either team couldn't win this game is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And so that is not my stance. My stance isn't this is a mismatch. It would take a Travis. That's not my stance. I'm picking the Chiefs. But my frustration with the conversation at large is, I think we would agree, Brou, that at the very moment, the team the Eagles had walking into last year's Super Bowl was better than the team the Eagles have right now because of the defensive losses. The offense is the same.
Based off week 1.
Yeah. And I think
they did lose. You're right.
Right. It just all the personnel they lost, and they changed coordinators, right? Which they're used to, but still. And the team, I think, that the Chiefs had walking into the Super Bowl, this year's team, in theory, is supposed to be better because the single biggest issue was left tackle, and people like the left tackle they have. But say the Chiefs are the same. Because in the Super Bowl, they're dealing with the receiver issues.
Well, remember, Worthy.
But they didn't have Rice in either one, sure. Right. But but point is this. The same media that is, in large part, writing off the Chiefs was universally picking them in that graphic you're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That Jalen saw that all the NFL, I think it was NFL Network, might have been ESPN, I don't know, had picked the Chiefs. The conversation going into that game was, the Eagles have an edge here, similar to this, and maybe more so on defense. But you'd be crazy to bet against Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
And now 2 games later, there is an element of, wow, you still believe in that team. That to me is silly.
So you're saying you still believe in that team against the Eagles or just overall?
Both. I guess both.
See, I don't know if people – I do think there's a little more doubt out there about the Chiefs than there should be. I agree with that. But I'm just talking about this specific matchup. This would be like you brought up boxing. Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Going into that fight, it was pretty much, man, this is going to be an even fight. Some thought Spence, some thought Crawford. Crawford destroyed him. If they fought again – just about everybody would be with Crawford. So that's, to me, kind of what this is.
To use the boxing analogy, though, to me it's more as if it's a trilogy and fighter A won the first one in a classic, fighter B won the second one in a knockout, and then there's a third fight. Because while you guys are focused on, I don't want to say you guys, we keep bringing up the fact that the Chiefs lost the regular season game in a year that ended with the Eagles in an existential funk and the Chiefs hoisting a trophy. 5 months or 8 months before that regular season game, they played in the Super Bowl and the Chiefs won.
And it was a close game.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
And then when the Eagles, obviously they fell right into that supernatural funk almost immediatly after beating the Eagles. But still, the fact that they went to Kansas City and beat them, that still says something to me. Like, all these other teams we talk about, kind of the Chiefs being in their head, except Cincinnati and Philadelphia, that says something that they aren't spooked by the Chiefs. I
totally agree with that. I don't think they're spooked. I think they can win. I think they are maybe the only team in the league, and I'm including Cincinnati in that the Chiefs don't have a psychological edge over. Yep. I buy all that. But it to me has flipped far too much in the other direction and I know I'm the gambler on the show far more than you, Brou, at the very least. Being a home dog is, to me, an indictment that this team, I should have had Josh pull it. Like, how many years did the Patriots go without when Tom Brady was healthy, without being a home underdog? Like,
if this was in Philly, it'd be like 4.5.
No, what they're saying is, no. If this were in Philly, they're saying it would be 6.5. Neutral site. It really, these days, you actually get 2.5 for home, not 3. So if it's 1.5 now, neutral site would be 4, and then in Philly, go 2.5 the other way, 6.5. That to me is crazy.
I don't think you think either it would be 6.5.
Well, I don't think it should be 1.5 Philly here. I think if you want to say, if you believe Philly's the slightly better team, but it's in Kansas City, it should be what it opened at, which is Chiefs by 1.5, but it's not that.
Other side of the ball, Eagles have been rolling. Only one loss since September of last year. Here's Mahomes on the reigning champs. Take a listen.
This is a really good football team. I mean, there's no way around it. They're good at every aspect on defense and obviously on offense as well. And It's going to take our best football, and so you learn from the mistakes that you make. That's part of playing the game. Is you learn from your failures. It's like you learn from the positive things that you do, and you try to come back and play better football this week. And it's going to take our best football to go out there and get a win.
Now, for the Eagles side, what would a loss to the shorthanded Chiefs mean for Philadelphia?
I wouldn't make a huge deal out of it, but I would view it as a missed opportunity. I would view it as a missed opportunity by the Eagles to put their foot on the Chiefs' throat and maybe even get a psychological advantage over the Chiefs. Now, they've beaten them 3 times in a row, beat them twice in Kansas City the last 2 times they played there. Like, if they met in the Super Bowl again, look, the Chiefs are obviously mentally tough, but that would be, that's a little bit of an advantage for the Eagles. And it also would be an opportunity to kind of even more so kill the Chiefs' mystique among other teams in the league. So I would view it very much as a missed opportunity. And I also, because they would be, the Chiefs are without their 2 best receivers, it would open the door, just open the door to me of I wouldn't say a Super Bowl hangover, but is there some complacency that has seeped into the Eagles because they didn't look great against Dallas? You will have lost to a Chiefs team that didn't have its 2 top receivers. That would just make me think, okay, I wouldn't write the Eagles off or anything, but it would open the door to, okay, have they gotten complacent? They're not the same team they were a year ago.
If that were to happen, complacency could be a reason, or, they're not as good as they were last year because of the losses on defense. And so that's if they depend, obviously you got to see how the game goes.
Yep.
But you lose to the Chiefs without Rice and Worthy, and I think most of the game scripts that we would be talking about, it would be time to be at least more than slightly worried about the Eagles' defense. And, I sounded that alarm Friday after the show. Like, I was greatly concerned from what I saw from that Eagles defense in week 1 of the season against a team. And I think, again, week 1 can be a liar, but what if Dallas comes out this weekend against the Giants and can't run the ball? Like they couldn't run the ball last year. And it's like, did Dallas fix its run game, or was the Eagles defense just gashable, so to speak? I also think that, again, through 1 week, of the teams that in the AFC that you thought as either contenders or likely playoff teams, or Vegas thought was likely playoff teams, in my opinion, only one looked like better than we expected, the Chargers. I think every other...
Green Bay?
No, in the AFC, I'm saying.
Okay.
In the AFC. Okay. In the AFC,
Of
the teams that were projected to make the playoffs.
Yep. Oh, they might be better than
right.
Yep.
The Bills defense, the Ravens collapse, the Chiefs' whole game, all of that, Cincinnati's game. It's to me, the NFC's the opposite. Green Bay, Tampa Bay, Washington, the Rams. You know what I mean? All those teams feel really good about their week 1 performances. And so if they lose and it's we've been talking the last few years correctly, I think, the AFC is kind of the varsity conference as far as the top teams, not necessarily the very best team because the Eagles have been great. The Lions are the only contender-ish team in the NFC that really hates the way they played. Mm-hmm. The Niners,
I agree. The NFC,
the NFC really all tough. Of a sudden looks. So that would be the other part of the concern, because the Chiefs, with a running game that has not honestly been good in 2 years, and this shorthanded from a receiver perspective, shouldn't be able to move the ball consistently absent the Mahomes magic that we're talking about. So I think falling to 0-2, let me put it like this. Had the Chiefs won week 1 and they were both 1-0 going into this game, I would think this game, given who's available and who's not, would be more important for Philly. Because the Chiefs aren't whole and they are. Because they're 1-0 and the Chiefs are 0-1, it changes it. But I think that where these teams are, that's where I lean. It would be not indictment, but potentially problematic about how good that defense is going to be.
Do you think there's any chance the Chiefs win comfortably?
What I think is this: if they get out to an early lead, it's certainly on the board. Because Philly has just been demolishing teams, to your point, for a year now. You know what I mean? They haven't had to come from behind.
No.
They've been able
They're
to
just
basically play their game plan consistently week in, week out, and I'm curious what it would look like. And I also think there is a psychological sense of, okay, you know what I mean? Like, we got him in the Super Bowl. Like, if it's getting away from them, it's not what I'm predicting.
No,
I'm not predicting a blowout, but I think it's on the board.
Yeah, the Eagles threw on 39% of their plays against the Cowboys. Be interesting to see what the game plan is for Patullo. Throw the ball to A.J. Brown a little bit. Not that
I'm sure they'll try.
News today, 49ers, of course, going down to New Orleans, but Brock Purdy will not be on the field. He is going to miss 2 to 5 weeks with a shoulder and toe injury. How concerning. Mac Jones is going to go.
Jones is a 3-point road favorite.
That is
what a slap in the face of the state of Louisiana.
How concerning are Purdy's injuries?
That hurt. That's my home state. How concerning is?
Yeah.
I mean, it's big. I picked them to win the division, which if Purdy misses 5 weeks, like, it's a chance they could be based, not out of it, but they'd almost have to run the table going forward. Now, look, fortunately for them, the schedule's not that tough. They got New Orleans, which they still should beat. Arizona, you could beat. Jacksonville, be tough. You know, let's see how Mac Jones
Those are at
plays.
least home games. Those are in San Francisco.
And they need to, like, be maybe 3-1 going into
because
the Rams.
then it gets tough all of a sudden.
Rams, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, Houston. Like, so this is huge. I think, and look, maybe I'm probably overreacting to McCaffrey in week 1. But right now it looks to me like Purdy's like their most important. I know he's a quarterback, but I'm just saying, like, he carries them because he did last week, even though he was bad at times. Unless McCaffrey can kind of turn back the clock, and that was a rust game.
You don't think you're being too harsh on McCaffrey?
I might be. I
mean,
but I didn't think he looked explosive or good. He did play fine in the receiving game.
Yeah, I mean, he had 30 touches, I think more than 150 yards. He didn't have any of the huge plays. Yeah. But to me, he was, you know, maybe their most reliable receiving option. Pearsall, I know, had a nice game. And so, so here is, Brou is looking at it, you know, for this time frame. Mm-hmm. I'm looking at it for almost the opposite, big picture. Man, in 2022, a half dozen starts into his career, he got hit in the NFC Championship game, and his elbow got messed up. Again, any player in that protection would have taken that hit. I don't know that every player's elbow would have suffered that damage. I think he is a slighter guy. I think one of the reasons he fell in the draft is his size. In 2023, he got concussed, and then later in the year left a game with a neck injury, but didn't miss time. In 2024, he got an MRI on his back. Then he had a shoulder injury against Seattle. Then in that same arm, elbow area that he got hit on, it made him miss the final week of the year. And in 2025, he got a turf toe variant is what it's being called, along with, unrelated, some type of left shoulder injury that's going to have him miss a month-ish. That's highly concerning for a player you paid early. And I am not, I said all offseason, I know it seems unfair because of all he has accomplished and he's made no money. But if I were running the San Francisco 49ers, I would not, coming off his worst year, which again, the standard was super high, I would not pay him early. And I don't think he's going to hold out. And I'd be like, sorry, man, it's a brutal business. Need to see it. And right now, today, in the Niners offices, how are they feeling that a week into their season, Mac Jones is taking over for September maybe, and Brock Purdy is one of the higher paid guys in the league? That was part of my concern. And I don't think that was unfair, it's given his history and his size.
Here's where I think, and I don't think you're doing this on purpose.
Okay, let me hear it.
But I think Brock Purdy is against one of your fundamental beliefs. Like, Brock Purdy was not a Gatorade High School All-American, okay? No, and so I think you just have you are going at him. I think you're being unfair. Here's why. Trevor Lawrence missed 7 games last year, And according to you, the third year in his
He
career,
got hurt and
he
it
was
threw off
banged
their
up.
whole
He
season.
played, but he was
100%.
banged up.
Yes.
So there's
Yes.
Dak Prescott has missed 25 games in the last 3 years, not including this season. Last 3 years, he's only completed a full season twice in the last 5 years.
That's fair.
Okay? Joe Burrow, we know, has been injury prone, missed 7 games his rookie year, or 6 games rookie year, 7 games 2 years ago, 13 in his 5 years. Stafford, we know recently he's missed a lot of games, but at the beginning of his career, he missed 19 games in his first 2 seasons in Detroit.
But then he never
got
missed
hurt.
innings.
Right. So, I'm saying early
Iron Man.
on, you might look at him as this guy's injury prone. Then he went like 8 straight years playing every game. And Purdy, if Purdy misses 5 games, let's say he misses the next 5, he will have missed 7 games in 3.5 seasons. So I just think
No, he
I
hasn't
don't
missed
think
a ton of time.
Yeah,
He's just if I just may quickly
Yeah.
respond. Dak's injuries, Dak had one catastrophic injury, you know what I mean, with the ankle being broken, and then ripped the hamstring off the bone.
But I would say he's more injury prone at this point than Purdy.
I don't agree with that, and I think you might be right in that it's not so much the draft profile bias as much as it is his size. Like you're right that Trevor's gotten hurt, but I also look at Trevor and I'm like, okay, he's big and strong and should, you know what I mean? That shouldn't happen a bunch. He's just small and that concerns me.
All right, is Brou worried about his Ravens? That's next on FS1, the Fox Sports channel on Sirius XM. Could lose this game to the Browns. Good. Tomorrow, first things first from the Power and Light District in Kansas City, 3 to 6 Eastern, 2 to 5 local. Greg will be there. We're gonna have some special guests. Danny Parkins will be there. Afterward, is there restaurants there? Are we eating there as well?
There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. And again, if you bring
After the show, I might have a Bud Light.
With us, you'll go.
Yeah, in the hotel room by myself.
see, unbelievable.
Why?
Hang with the people. Meet and greet immediately following the show. And we're at the show. We'll say hello to people, take pictures, do all that.
Yes.
Yes.
Meet and greet me at the airport. I'll be
Okay, Greg, you know what?
You're not hanging either?
The 3 of us got it, Brou. Don't worry about him.
In any event, Thursday Night Football tonight, Commanders in Green Bay. Packers favored by more than a field goal. Micah facing off against his old defensive coordinator, Dan Quinn. Here's Jayden and Dan Quinn on Micah.
You don't let game records wreck the game. And, you got to keep an eye on them. And, like I said, you got paid a lot of money for a reason.
Are you asking what would I do if I was coaching him? Yeah, I'd sit him this week on a short week.
I like a relaxed press conference. Week 1, both quarterbacks played well. They were the only quarterbacks to beat their division opponents by 7 or more points. Brou, who you got in this game?
I got the Pack. It's in Green Bay. I think they looked fantastic last week. I think their defense is better than the Commanders. Offensively, they got a better run game. Outside of the quarterback, they got a better run game.
Commanders ran it really well week 1.
No, and
Bill
that's why they were willing
Merritt
to give up
looked awesome.
Robinson. But I think Josh Jacobs, I would say, is the best running back of the 2 teams. I think Green Bay is going to be able to play well against them. Washington has a shot. I think they're a very good team too, but I'm going with the Packers.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely going with the Packers. And you talked about the run game and what the Commanders were able to do. They ran the average 6.9 a carry against the Giants, but the Packers played the Lions. And we all thought,
shut them down.
Man, the Lions, if there's anything that they're going to do, they're going to run the ball.
Yep.
And they couldn't sniff the run game, only allowed exactly 2.1 a carry. So if the Packers, if that version of that defense continues to be real and show up, it's going to be hard for this Commanders team to move the ball the way that they did against the Giants. Now, they do pose a completely different element in problem with Jayden Daniels versus Jared Goff because he's a part of that running game and he can get outside the pocket and extend plays and beat you in the passing game. So they're going to have their work cut out for them, but I got the Packers in there.
Yeah, listen, I want to talk about the Commanders side of it just for a second because I don't know what to make of the Giants game at all, because the one thing I think we all thought was the Giants defense, particularly that defensive front, could be really good. And I know we were focused on the pass rush of it, but like you were saying, the Commanders ran incredibly effectively with a 7th-round draft pick, Ja'Cory, who actually wants to go by Bill Krosky-Merritt. And on the flip side, the Giants couldn't run the ball on Washington at all. Like the Washington defense, which was my concern going into the year for them, I think everybody's to a degree. If you had a concern, it was that. Washington defense looked great, but it also might be the Giants are just that bad. Like we need to see more from them. But I also have Green Bay.
Wow.
And I was worried that this was going to happen where it's a clean sweep. So I have an added proclamation here.
Okay, good.
Oh.
I think the Packers are going to go undefeated in games this year that J-Lo doesn't turn the ball over. I think now with the addition of Micah Parsons, they are that well coached.
Interesting.
They are that sound defensively. I do like you were talking about Matthew Golden, that you know what I mean? They have a kind of supplemented receiving core, solid O-line, good running game. I think that when J-Lo takes care of the ball, this is as good as any team in the league. And we can historically listen. I mean, that is also that's not super unique just to him. What's I think a little unique to him is more games with a turnover than without. You know what I mean? Like that is difficult for him. But I think the Packers, with the addition of Parsons Wilds, are going to be very difficult to beat if they don't make mistakes. And the question is, can Jordan Love avoid the mistakes?
Right.
Because, as you guys pointed out correctly, even in week 1, he gave him some opportunities, and they just didn't catch
charted those as interceptions.
Oh, okay.
When I was doing my game film, Greg.
Turnover worthy.
Yeah, when the ball's bouncing off the hands of Lions defenders, I say, you know what, Jordan Love? I'm not willing to say that was a clean game.
Yeah.
I'm going to coin a new phrase.
Oh, here we go.
BYBG, burst your bubble game for Jayden Daniels. Oh, sophomore slump. Hate to burst your bubble. Jayden Daniels still good. Oh, the Giants defense is going to be good. Burst your bubble. Burst your bubble game. Jayden Daniels still good. Oh, the Packers.
So this is going to be a burst your bubble?
This is a burst your bubble game again for Jayden Daniels.
That the Packers are this juggernaut, and he.
Oh my gosh! You shut down, Jared Goff without Ben Johnson.
I wouldn't be shocked.
No, I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't at all be shocked.
So here's the other thing I wanted to ask you, and shout out to Mike Greenberg who brought this up. It wasn't my idea. I said, "Ooh, that's good. I'm gonna ask Greg Jones."
That's your rival, buddy.
It's not my rival.
It is. I mean, he's standing between
Very
you
good.
and an
You
Emmy.
know we call this
whatever.
fighting.
Well, I mean,
great.
the best daily talk studio host.
Micah, how effective will Micah Parsons be? No training camp. Had an ailing back. Remember.
Yeah.
On short rest.
On short from no training camp. Boom. Sunday, Thursday.
They only play a half game.
Yeah, see, I think we're going to see a different version of Micah Parsons because
better.
Absolutely.
Oh, I thought
he's going to
be
get more snaps.
Winded.
The Packers, I know when we were watching that, you heard the broadcast like, "Man, I would take Micah Parsons out." No, you keep him in because this is the only work that he's been able to get. Right. So you want him to get that. Obviously, you're taking a risk because of the amount of money you paid him, the impact that he can have down the road as far as for the completion of the season. But you want him to get those reps because there is no other way to emulate that. And so now you get him Thursday night. He's going to have some succinct design schemes that are for him, that he understands, that are, Micah, this is for you. We're doing this for you. Go get the quarterback.
See that? Yeah, we love this play. Jared Goff's not Jayden
No,
Daniels.
Yeah, that's
that play wouldn't happen with Jayden.
Right.
We understand that.
Yeah,
but I want to say one other reason why for Brou and Greg, who you picked the Packers to win the Super Bowl or get there.
Picked him to
Win the NFC at the very
Buffalo?
least.
Yeah,
beat Buffalo.
And you
I
picked
got
them to
them
get
getting
there.
there. Yeah.
Another reason for just an added ounce of optimism about that is baked in to, I think, all of our preseason Packers predictions in one way or another was, man, that division's so tough.
Yes.
And again, it's 1 week. But 1 week, Detroit doesn't look as tough.
Yeah.
Chicago is a work in progress. And while the Vikings, that was a great win, I think you saw in real time that it's, you know what I mean?
It's
that
gonna be a
JJ
process,
is
yes.
going to be a process. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh, what we were calling the best division in the NFL. If Chicago looks like they looked and Detroit looks like they looked, that's not the best division in the NFL. And that is another reason why this game specifically would be such a boon for them to win. You know what I mean? One of your harder non-divisional games against a team you could be fighting for with seeding. Really important.
All right, we're going to talk Browns in Baltimore. Now, this line is out of control. Flacco versus Lamar. Browns are almost 12-point underdogs, and they do not like it. Here's Denzel Ward and Jerry Jeudy with some choice words. Take a listen.
Yeah, it's definitely disrespect, but we just got to go in there and take care of business.
That's disrespectful by the end of the day, they if they think Baltimore could beat us like that, we're gonna have to prove them another thing.
Baltimore secondary, I know was the number one ace back there. Just what are the challenges that presents to you guys as we see?
No challenges.
Brou? Are you worried about the Browns?
Well, first, what's with the shirtless press conferences?
I don't have an issue with that.
Have we seen other team?
Oh, yeah.
Now we've seen two guys, Myles Garrett and him.
Don't hate it, Brou.
I'm just saying.
I
join
like
in.
I mean, I could.
From Cleveland, bro. Just tat it up. Like, wow, bro. Like Kevin Durant.
So
the question is, are you worried?
I fully expect the Ravens to win, but with this team, I'll never say never. Like, the Browns, for being a team that hasn't really been good for a while, they play tough in this division. We know they've had a winning record against the Bengals. They've won 2 of the last 3 against the Ravens, 3 of the last 5 against the Ravens. And remember, 2 years ago, I remember watching that game closely. The Ravens were up like 31-17 late in the game.
Oh, that's the Flacco game?
Yeah. They gave up 16 points in the fourth quarter. It was just what we saw against Buffalo. And so, like I said, I comfortably feel that the Ravens will win. But it is possible in this division.
The answer is
they
yes.
lost game 2 last year.
Well, they lost last year.
I won't send out a celebratory tweet till 60 minutes after the game.
So
just in case something happened that I didn't see.
So I mean, last year they lost in heartbreaking fashion in Week 1 to one of the other top AFC contenders. They then luckily had a get-right game against the Raiders. They were up 10 with 10 minutes left. And, Brou, you're not going to believe this. Got conservative on offense, went 3 and out, and found a way to lose to last year's Raiders team.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing I will say. Cleveland, on a down-to-down basis, I thought played well Week 1.
Yeah.
The problem is, situationally and special teams, they were a disaster. Now, part of that is because they're the Browns. And the Browns, Browns will find a way to lose games. And so I would not be worried if I were you, but I will say if I were you and somehow they find a way to have this game be in the balance in the fourth quarter, then it's a team you can't believe in.
So, and that's...
Well, and if they lose quickly, then who they got? The Chiefs? Or
they
Detroit
have the Chiefs in 2 weeks. I think
they got like
the Ravens.
Yeah, they got
the Ravens
Detroit
would have
Detroit and Kansas City.
Detroit,
and even after that, you got
Houston Rams.
So it would really.
Yeah. It's not. I know we're all thinking, well, don't worry, but when you look at the Cleveland Browns, like defensively, this is where they hang their hat.
Yes.
Like, and they're looking at this offensive unit like, look, we're just as good as you are defensively as you are offensively. And so it could very well be a stalemate. Like what Derrick Henry was able to do against the Buffalo Bills. Now he's been stellar throughout the course of his career. But I don't believe that he's going to run over this defense like that.
I agree.
That's just not what they do. Now, if that happens, absolutely blowout. The spread is what it is. Yeah. They got it right. If they can't run the ball and this defense keeps them in the game, Joe Flacco going back to Baltimore for the first time.
Well, that's the other crazy thing. He's never played in Baltimore since He's been gone forever.
He's going to feel comfy in there.
Hold on. We just got
comfy.
We just got not breaking news, but a breaking quote. And I'm going to Greg, while he was listening to some of the Browns talk, I think I'm reading his mind. He didn't say this, but he's like, some of these guys shouldn't be talking publicly. Grant Delpit evidently just said, quote, "It's not hard to tackle Derrick Henry."
Oh, my.
I don't think the Browns are that buttoned up. I think,
oh, my.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, you don't say that.
Yeah, I mean, what?
Has he? I wonder if he's tackled him one-on-one before.
Yeah.
They're like, we
It
win that
doesn't
game.
matter.
We beat the Bengals if we have a good kicker.
Yeah, no, I know.
We should be feeling good.
I do think the line is too high.
The Flacco revenge.
11 and
See,
a half,
I don't.
that's too
I
high.
think
Division
a
game.
21-point blowout is on the board. But I also think that, oh my God, the Ravens are 0-2. You know what I mean? Like, it feels to me like if the Browns cover, they somehow win, or the Ravens maybe just blow them out. But the Flacco never having played in Baltimore since being a Raven is an interesting wrinkle. You know he's going to just chuck it around.
He's already got 2 picks.
Last time he played
he's already
against the
in.
Ravens, guess how many times he threw the ball? 59 times when he was with the Jets. 37-59 for 309 and a touchdown.
Did they beat the Ravens?
No. No.
You never know.
Lamar's 3-3 against the Browns.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Got a car to sell but no time to waste? Hop on to Carvana.com to get a real offer for your car in seconds. All you have to do is enter your license plate, answer a few quick questions, and if you accept the offer, Carvana will pay you as soon as you hand the keys over. They even offer same-day pickup in many cities. Save your time, score some cash, and sell your car the convenient way to Carvana. Pickup times vary. Fees may apply.
Dan Campbell versus his old offensive coordinator Ben Johnson this Sunday in Detroit. Lions offense only scored 13 points in week 1. Some people thought the offense looked different. Dan Campbell disagrees. Take a listen.
Would it have been feasible to, and people are wondering, the offense looks drastically different than it does last year. Would it have been feasible to just exactly run the exact same offense?
So after one game, tell me what it looks like that's drastically different.
Not a lot of pre-snap motions. Explosive plays weren't there. Wasn't as creative. Wasn't as.
You didn't see any pre-snap motions in that game?
As much as we've seen before.
I want you to go back and look at all of our motions, pre-snap motions, fast motion shifts on the road.
And then meet me in the back alley.
Yeah. You got to fire back. You got to meet fire with fire there. Like, I don't know, you're the expert. You scored 13 points. Tell me. Greg, is it fair to be worried about the Lions?
It is fair. It is fair because what we saw in the reporter was right. Like, it just didn't look like what we've become accustomed to seeing with the Detroit Lions in terms of the brand, the style.
Yes.
Stylistically, I'm not talking about what Dan is talking about is the X's and O's, the formations and all the different No, we're talking about it just didn't look, when we turn on the tape, I didn't see them dominate for a series in that game.
Right.
I didn't see them dominate at all against that Packers defense, and that's just not what we had come accustomed to seeing. They were the team that told you, like an assassin walking in here, hey, I'm coming to run the ball. There's nothing you can do about it. Matter of fact, I'm going to run the ball 3 times in a row. What you going to do?
Ooh.
It doesn't matter because we're still going to make it work. That was them last year, and then we didn't see any glimpse of that against the Packers. So now you go up against a Bears team who got your old offensive coordinator, and now the chatter is getting louder and louder. You lose to this outfit, you better believe everybody in Detroit is going to be like, what's going on? Is it really because Ben Johnson is gone? And on the coaching staff, they're tired of hearing Ben Johnson. They love him, but it gets old.
Well, certainly if they lose this game, they are certainly worthy to be questioned. They would be 0-2 in the division. Not just 0-2, but 0-2 in the division. Losing to a team that didn't look good last week in Chicago, that quarterback kind of on the ropes. But also the fact that it was a divisional game and it wasn't close last week. Like, if you look at all the other divisional games, there were 8 divisional games. 6 of the other 7 were within 6 points. The only other one that was Washington, New Jersey, New York, and that was 21-6. This game wasn't close, though. And the fact that a division rival did that to you says a lot to me. And it's absolutely worth questioning them. And then, of course, Goff's record without.
To me, it's less Ben Johnson and more the interior of the offensive line, because the lack of Ben Johnson might hurt some Goff and some of the cool, fancy
the
trick stuff. But being able to get 6 yards a rush is, Jahmyr Gibbs still there. They still have a good running game. They just don't have the dominant, I don't think, offensive line that they've had in the past. My biggest takeaway, though, is not about week one. It's about that press conference, because I think Dan Campbell's feeling it a bit.
Yes. And
it's what's interesting about when a coach is, and I understand he's always high-strung, drinks like 30 coffees a day. I know who Dan Campbell is. Typically, if a coach is testy, it's because he's like, am I going to get fired? Dan Campbell's job is the safest job in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So why would he be testy a week into the season? Unless it's because deep down he's like, I don't know if we're quite the same team we were last year. You know what I mean? Like we were right there the last 2 years. 2 years ago, we were maybe a touch better than expected, a game away from the Super Bowl. Last year, everybody was dropping Lions point differential banners. We're dropping 50 points in multiple games. We're the 1 seed. We get clocked in that game. Are we not that team this year? And is that a little hard to deal with? Like, that was maybe I'm projecting a bit because I don't think they're still quite that team, but I don't know why else. He also had a weird thing, like, he didn't guarantee a win against the Bears, but he's like, oh, we're going to win. When they were asked about Ben Johnson, the Bears, like, it's just odd for a coach as secure in his position as Dan Campbell to that early in the season be high-strung, and I think it might be because he knows it, that this team isn't quite as good as the teams they've had before.
I thought you were going to go down the Ben Johnson is getting a little bit too much credit for Dan Campbell's success, and he feels some kind of way about that.
The year before, when he came back and said unfinished business, like Dan Campbell was promoting all of that. Like, he loves for his coaches to get the credit. He will pass it along to him. Now it's like, okay, look. That was great when he was here. But look, this is not his offense. He controlled the offense. He called the plays. But this is my identity.
And ultimately, there's also the I'm the head coach and a big, tough former football player. And y'all, I love Ben, but y'all love this nerd. Like, it's my team. Like,
you know what? I get it.
Yeah.
You should be bothered by it. You should be. He did turn the franchise around.
Totally. And I'm not speaking for, that was a little unfair what I said. But I do think there's an element of, like, man, the Lions changed because of me. Yeah. Not because we were throwing to our Dan Skipper. Like, I do think that's
a lot of focus is on this offense defensively. They didn't look great.
Well, that's the other thing. Maybe he just wants someone to be like, actually, we miss Aaron Glenn. Another former tough football player like me.
Budless next.
Like, they were like turnover takeaway machines last year.
Live from New York. It's the show that is. The show doesn't know how we feel about Greg just bringing the iPad on. Do you notice that Greg started doing that?
Yeah.
He just, he just always, whatever team we're talking about, he has their schedule.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's just
I didn't know what it was.
Supplemental thing.
Absolutely. And he's like, now he's like doing other stuff. He's like, hold on, I've got that.
No, it was, it was helpful for me there because I couldn't remember if the Lions-Bears game where it was. And so I glanced over. It was like, is that a verse or an at? I got it. Bang. Okay. Yeah.
Baltimore after the Bears, too.
Yeah, Greg's into the schedule. I used to bring out the full 272-game grid every time, but Greg's eyes wouldn't open that.
That's what. Be careful, because he does have wandering eyes.
Oh, buddy, I've never.
Honestly, I go like this all the time.
I know. The time. This guy thinks.
Don't even look at mine.
The valedictorian doesn't cheat off the class clowns.
Don't even look at it.
I'm telling you. It's just not how it works. Bru's still doing the butler.
Second hour, he's getting ready. Second hour first.
Just a little reminder.
Today, are the Cowboys set to deliver an A game against the Giants? Dak, all he does is win against New York, so we'll see. Meanwhile, the first edition of Brou's Ballot. Your unofficial NFL ballot. You have an official NBA ballot. I think we should add in your preseason NBA MVPs too.
Really?
Wow, Şengün, dark horse MVP. That's an interesting take. Someone.
I'm not there
wow,
with
looks
you
like
guys.
2 people cheating off my paper.
I love Şengün. I'm not there with you guys.
But right now, that was Ramsey's take too. So I actually cheated off Ramsey's paper.
Ramsey?
Yeah, Ramsey said
We
Şengün.
talked about this yesterday. Let's get to the Bud
dark
list.
horse MVP.
I love
After the Bud
Ramsey.
list.
Oh,
He's gotten
Ramsey.
enough shine the last 2 days. His
Ramsey, I don't think you have
basketball
enough.
takes in September.
It's time now for the most motivation. We also read some letters from the audience. Oftentimes, it's one family, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's always one. The letters only come from the Don Senior Don family.
Isn't there you're Ryan and Brian?
Yeah, they're cousins.
We'll see. You never know what it is.
Okay.
Always a curveball on first things first. Dear Wilds, great news. We are coming to your Kansas City show.
All right.
Can't wait to see you there. Any special guests planned in Kansas City? Cheers. Again, Ryan, Brian, Don Senior, and Don Senior. But Don Senior can't make it watching the dogs. Well, thank you for writing. We are going to be in Kansas City tomorrow, 3 to 6 Eastern, 2 to 5 local. We will have some special guests, of course.
Both Cowboy Brews?
And
way up there. Okay.
a special guest.
To balance it out.
Oh, hey, look on Mahomes' head. It's Bruto. The one you
rare
always...
occasion we broke out Bruto. Again,
Wow.
thank you, Ramsey.
The Greek...
We gotta bring that.
No, we don't.
We just did. We brought it back.
People don't know.
Seconds.
That's the rarely used these days Greek philosopher.
It was based off of a Plato reference.
Yeah.
It was great. Young people be soft. That's what it was. And you two last week talking about hurt feelings. It would have been perfect. Dusty, get it ready. All right, at number 3, let's go to boxing. Nick referred to it earlier.
Oh, that's a good one.
Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford, both of them on here, both of them under duress. This is at least the fight of the decade.
Wow.
Yes.
Maybe more, right? At least the fight of the decade. Both guys basically at the top of their craft. There's a little talk, Canelo's getting a little older, but he's still basically in his prime. And the winner of this, they're both all-time greats already. The winner goes to legendary status.
Yes.
Now, Terrence Crawford, I think, guys, if he wins this fight, I think he gets put in the discussion, the category, with the Sugar Ray Leonard and Floyd Mayweather. Yes. I think whether you think he should or not, I think he will.
Jumping 2 weight
because
classes.
he's jumping 2 weight classes. Now, Sugar Ray, remember, went from welterweight and knocked out the light heavyweight champion, Donnie Lalonde. So this would be similar in that if he were to beat Canelo Alvarez. So this would be huge. And also, guys, I wouldn't go this far as an overstatement, but I think there is a little degree of Crawford not having anything to lose. Because if he does lose, some people may say he jumped 2 weight classes and fought a puncher like Canelo in his prime. I think but if he wins, obviously he becomes a legend. As far as Canelo, a win here, he would be celebrated, even though he's fighting a smaller guy. He would be celebrated for it. His resume becomes, terrific. You already beat Triple G twice. Now you add Terrence Crawford to that. So this would be huge for both of these guys. I believe in both of you, but my pick is Crawford unanimous decision.
Wow.
So we will see.
Wow.
Crawford,
I
unanimous
love
decision.
that, bro.
But I think it's going to be I just hope for a great fight.
This is
All
a
right.
good one.
At number 2, CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
I almost went with Dak because, Dak's the bigger name. But CJ got something to prove. Now, he was obviously awesome his rookie year. It was in the discussion maybe for best rookie year ever until Jayden Daniels came along a year later. But since then, last year had the sophomore slump. And then week 1 this year, they lost to the Rams, no shame in that. But CJ wasn't great. CJ had an interception, no touchdowns, 74 passer rating, only 180 some odd yards. And that, guys, in his last 11 full games, I'm not counting the last game last season where he played like a couple series because they had clinched the playoffs. His last 11 full games, that's the 10th time he's failed to have a passer rating of 100. But it's the 8th time he's had a passer rating under 80. 8 times in his last 11 full games, his passer rating has been under 80. In those 11 games, 9 touchdowns, 9 picks.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure what's going on, but if they lose this game, you're also 0-2. And look, Kansas City, nobody's taking them out of the playoffs if they start 0-2. Baltimore, same thing. The Texans, that's a different story.
Especially with the Jags and the Colts sitting there, Greg.
The division looks a little tougher.
Yeah.
If the Colts are for real, Jags, we'll see if they're for real. Division looks tougher. So, CJ, I definitely believe in you, but you got to get it done. All right, at number 1, Patrick Mahomes.
Wow.
All right, now a week ago, we were like, we want the light show. Now it's like, a win will do. A win will do. And it's not even Mahomes' fault. I mean, your offensive line looks okay, but not as great. It's not great at this point. We'll see if it gets to that. You're without your 2 best receivers, and you are in a game where offensively you're just undermanned. There's no question about it. They have the better receivers, Philly. They have the better running back. They have the better O-line. And so you have to work some magic. We know you do not want to go to 0-2. We know you do not want to lose 3 straight games for the first time in your career. We know also you don't want to give up the unofficial title of best quarterback in the world, which some people are dying to take from you.
Me?
Dying?
Yeah.
Dying to snatch it from your palms, Patrick. Yeah, I'm keeping it real, Rob. You know this. All right, so
lose
Patrick.
3 times to Jalen Hurts, though.
Okay, there you go.
There you go.
We're going to have a conversation.
All right, Patrick, it's your time to shine. You worked some magic in Brazil, wasn't enough, but we need you to work some magic Sunday.
Great list.
I believe in you.
Thank you, Brou, for that extra motivation for Patrick. Thank you.
That was a really good list.
That was a good list. I love the boxing.
Yes.
We should cover more boxing on the show.
Can I say something real quick? If people want more of that, What's Right podcast, a 1-hour
Gianna,
boxing
do you think
interview.
this helps our podcast?
I'm just telling you, a 1-hour with boxing expert and poker Hall of Famer Nick Schulman. It drops tonight, wherever you get your podcasts. Yeah, I taped it last night. I was up till 11 p.m. talking about this.
It drops tonight?
It drops tonight. Yeah, I was. Did 1 hour on Canelo Crawford.
Yeah.
Just to add Bru's to commentary.
I was on with Sean Porter last night, former welterweight champ.
Wow.
Talking about the fight.
There we go. What were you doing?
Me?
Yeah.
Getting ready for Commanders Packers. So what's right at 9 o'clock? Maybe I will after the game. Double screen it.
Well, I was looking at some film of all this receiver play, and I'm throwing up receivers on
wide
the buzzer.
receivers,
wide
the whole
receivers, wide outs. I'm not forget the tight ends, wide receivers.
Oh, I like this.
Week 1 was very disappointing. And I played the position, so I'm going to speak to it from that vantage point. Like, you get excited for the season and the pulse of an offense. Like, as fans, when you're watching the games, we're excited to see big plays. You know who makes a lot of those big plays? Receivers.
Yeah.
But when we're robbed of seeing that, for whatever the reasons may be, Kansas City, we didn't get to see Xavier Worthy. We wanted the light show. Injury. Like, man, what's going on? Then we're watching guys who has rookie quarterbacks or young quarterbacks that are playing for the first time, and we're seeing all these drops.
Talking about Calvin Ridley.
Calvin Ridley, even Justin Jefferson with J.J. McCarthy, a couple of drops. We saw CeeDee Lamb, what that game could have ended up being with drops. Like, what's going on? And then we had the guys that were just flat out MIA. Where was A.J. Brown? Where was Devontae Smith? Where was Amon-Ra St. Brown? Jameis Williams,
Jamar
Williams,
Chase, right?
Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyreek, Jalen Waddle. Like, where are these guys at? What was going on in week 1? And I'm like, you know what? They're waiting for week 2.
Oh, that's good.
Had to be. Even Scary Terry. Tonight, we got to see you. You missed training camp. I get all of that. Again, it's about us. Every receiver unit in the National Football League feels like when they're in the huddle of an offense, it's about us. Our offense goes as we go. You know I'm not lying. Let's get it going in week 2. I'm calling all of you guys out. It's a blanket across the league. I know some of y'all had some days, some great outings, but it's too many of us that was snoozing.
Greg, as a fellow wide receiver, I want to ask you, I can't remember now. Did they take away the gloves from the guys? I mean, I'm just I'm gonna be honest. We should not be seeing drops like this with these gloves.
It was a lot of drops.
With these gloves.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Did you?
Shining moment.
Can one guy be absolved from that? Can my guy Puka Nacua, who's out there getting just face sliced open, stitched, went back up there, stitches rip out, stitched again, still got it.
It was amazing. I love Puka.
Puka is the man.
I love what he did, but it can't just be one of us.
No, I agree with you. But
No.
Puka's just a tough son of a gun. KW, what time is it?
Oh, it's time, whether you like it or not, for the sports media ombudsman.
Thank you so much.
Wow, that was
Kevin Wilds.
I'm excited for it.
real matter of fact.
Yeah.
Oh, he's been on a losing streak.
No, last week's was great.
What was last
It was
week's?
2 weeks ago that we had a rough moment. Last week's, you didn't like, actually you think it's on a losing streak, because last week I said people need to watch whole football games and not only red zone. You were like, don't insult the audience. Wiles didn't like that one.
Not bad.
But, all right. I don't think you're going to like this one. I just wish there was less fickleness in the world, but in sports media in particular. And the names here are coincidental, I promise, and I didn't tell them what images to use, so I don't know what they're going to use. But in short, we need more Mr. Consistencies and less Captain Easy stances in sports media.
When he's out of ideas.
This is
Now it's me.
Oh,
First of all,
this really.
if everyone's Mr. Consistency, nobody is.
So I understand that. I get that. However, I just want to take America quickly through what's happened. And it's not all about KW. I didn't ask them to use your picture, and if I had, I would have asked them to use the Captain Easy Stance picture. Here was the Micah Parsons saga. Dallas is negligent for not signing this guy. Draft him first ballot Hall of Famer. That was phase one of it. Phase two, he's such an impact. Buffalo should do everything they can to go get him to get over the hump. That's phase two. He then was traded. Is he good anymore? Have we overrated him the whole time? After one game with the Packers, Micah Parsons has made the Packers the favorite. Same player, one game played, 4 media cycles.
Wait, and tonight we're going to get another bite at it.
Exactly.
Jayden just
exactly
ineffective.
Patrick
run right around him.
Patrick Mahomes. It's February of this year. Doing a checklist of tail of the tape Super Bowl. Offensive line Eagles, running back Eagles, wide receiver Eagles, D-line Eagles, linebacker Eagles, secondary Eagles, pick Chiefs. Why? Mahomes, greatest I've ever seen, never doubt him again. And in fact, if he wins this game, you have to say he might, by virtue of the three-peat, have surpassed Tom Brady as the GOAT. 2 games later, this idiot still thinks he's the best quarterback in the league. Can you imagine? This guy still thinks Mahomes has it. Like, can we all just admit Patrick Mahomes was a product? It's not just you. My dear mentor, Colin Cowherd. Can we all just admit Patrick Mahomes just dropped into a great circumstance?
Well, that was
do we know how good is Patrick Mahomes really? It's 2 games. And then there's my guy Kevin Wilds, who for years has said, I'm beloved in Kansas City. I'm a Mahomes guy. I'm a Kansas City guy. I picked Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. I think the Chiefs are the team. One bad game to start the season. And Kevin Wilds
basically
has cast the Chiefs into the category of opponents that create trap games.
Trap games for
Because as we all know, a trap game is when a team is so much better than their opponent, they look past them, and it's a trap game.
You actually tweeted that?
And KW this morning tweets trap game.
Yeah, it's a trap game.
So I
you
just
see
threw
all that green on there, and there's only one. Who is it? Was it
Bucky Brooks? Buddy.
And everyone's going. That's a trap game.
That's not a trap game.
That feels like a trap game.
That's a nobody believes in us game. Trap game.
That is the new trap game.
No,
the new. It's not like, ooh, we're playing the Panthers. But the new trap game is
buddy.
new trap game.
It's not. It's not.
I'm telling you.
We just need.
That's a true trap game.
No, okay.
That's a true trap game.
That's today's sports media.
Not bad. Take the camera off me for a second, just for the bit to work, Rick. Just you have to go solo camera.
Who's there? Knock, knock. I don't know what I'm supposed to say here.
You know who's there? Opportunity! Mac Jones, that's you, buddy.
Oh, my.
You got a starting spot again. This guy will never start in the league. You're back. 1 week, you're back to being a starter for one of the preeminent franchises in the entire sports world. You have to make the most of it. People are like, well, he's not good. He was good. I know. I understand I'm alone on this.
At Alabama?
But at Alabama, he set the completion percentage record. And he's a national champion. At his rookie year, he's 10-7. His completion percentage was better. His passing yards were better. He had 22 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, passer rating 92. Now, since then, everything is worse. Everything. What happened? Did you get hurt? A little bit, but at this point, it should be solved. It's up here. Do you understand? It's just here. Now you got Kyle Shanahan. Okay, 3 seconds, throw it over there. Just do that. Okay? We have to get you back on track. Here's the other thing. There is a path. High draft pick on their third team. Here are some notable performances. You'll remember these. For one, it was last week. Justin Fields against the Steelers. As Justin Fields no good, Justin Fields like, yeah, guess what? I am good.
Max draft class, too.
Max draft class. Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was with the Jets, went to the Panthers, popped up for Purdy, played well against the Rams, and then when he went to the Vikings, he won that game too. That was Baker's first appearance on his third team.
Oh, yeah.
The legendary,
Thursday
I'm going to call it legendary.
Yeah.
Baker led a 98-yard game-winning drive. So, Mac, this is your opportunity. And what gives me hope, as we talked about fashion.
The Saints?
Not only the Saints. As Deion Sanders would say, look good, play good, feel good. Look good, feel good, play good.
There you go.
Feel good. Some combo.
Look
so you're
good,
there.
Feel good, play good. You got it.
Mac, I'm the only one.
Yeah.
It's just like me and his fiance. We have to play well. Nothing stupid, nothing insane, nothing that shows up on a blooper reel. No interceptions. Please.
KW.
Please.
KW.
I'm
I like
pleading
that,
with
Wild.
you.
I do
That's
too.
your
And I'm
quarterback.
telling you, no, you're the biggest Mac Jones fan this weekend. I'm the second biggest. I'm telling you
Purdy.
right now, nothing would make me happier, buddy. If there was ever a game we should watch together, it's Niners Saints.
my God.
Locked arms rooting for Mac Jones.
Maybe.
To go out there and cook.
Maybe.
I hope he cooks. I hope he gets him a W.
I hope so. And that's this week's edition of the Bud List. Coming up next, will a Cowboys A game make you think, maybe Dallas can make a run at the playoffs? That's next.
Are we dreaming?
Maybe.
Are we serious?
Huge game. Eagles at Chiefs on Fox. America's game of the week, Sunday at 4. We will be in Kansas City to preview the game tomorrow. We're flying out today. This is just going to be an excellent game and a great way to kick off America's game of the week on Fox.
Live show, Power and Light tomorrow. No tickets necessary. Just come by. Meet and greet right after.
No huddle. We're starting with the Seahawks hosting the Steelers and their old franchise wide receiver DK Metcalf. Now DK had 4 catches for 83 yards, including this circus grab. Here's Aaron Rodgers with an interesting comment on their connection. Take a listen.
He's about the right stuff. He cares about it. He cares about it enough to watch the film and to put in the time and take notes and ask questions and come over and sit next to me during the week at various times to try and get on the same page. So I love it. You know, that's unfortunately not the standard around the league that I've been accustomed to.
Wow. What? Your reaction?
Why does he have to do that with every... I just don't understand, and I think we all know people like this, that feel almost an obligation at the end of even a nice comment to add a little flair of bitterness, either directed at you or at something in the past. I just don't understand. I mean, he's obviously right there talking about you.
He did name some Packers.
Maybe he had the guys he played with before didn't work that hard. I don't know.
He did rattle off several Packers. I didn't think he was.
Did he? That worked hard?
Yeah, he mentioned James Jones. He mentioned, I think, Romeo Doubs, I think.
Greg Jr.
Jordy Nelson.
We know obviously he loves Lazard and Cobb. He brought them with him.
I don't know if it's fair.
So
It's unfair to speculate. I don't want to do it, but it was.
He's talking about Garrett Wilson.
Okay, I guess.
I mean, again, I don't think that's necessarily true about Garrett Wilson, but I just feel like we know the receivers he loves that he's not talking about Devontae. Right. You know what I mean? He's not talking about those guys. Like there's Elijah Moore. Like who are we talking about?
I don't know why he did it. All right, Greg, we'll start with you since you did your wide receiver. Well, two wide receivers. Who wants to? All right, Greg, we'll start with you. Are you expecting a huge game from DK Metcalf against his former team?
I'm not. And here's why. It's not something that happens often. Like very seldomly do you see wide receivers who were with the team go back and play against that team and they just have a monster game. Like it happens, and there are some guys recently that has made it happen, and we can show the list. Jerry Jeudy,
crazy.
Nobody really expected that when he played Denver last year. DJ Moore did it against Carolina, got to play them again last year. A.J. Brown a few years ago against Tennessee. And the reason why I got these on here, it's not a lengthy list of guys.
Tyreek hadn't done it against KC.
Because it's so hard to do. It's a dependent position. And DK, we all agree, he's a spectacular receiver. But when you are going up against a defense and they're in their second year with their head coach, do you think for 1 second they're going to just allow you to do whatever you want to do? No. There's two priorities. And this is reality. Win the game. We don't let DK be the reason why we have an issue out here. That's what it is. Now, DK, he understands what he's going up against. He's been against those guys. So he feels like, well, shoot, I know them inside and out. Then you watch the film and you look, well, Ricky Pearsall did this to you. DK, they not going to play you like that. Trust me. It's going to be a challenge, and it never typically happens for receivers like that, unfortunately, because I was in that position. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you right now, my visit back to Green Bay did not go like I wanted it to go.
Okay.
I mean, look, that's great analysis. I think that's probably right.
Film, bro.
But just like they're gonna be trying to stop DK, make sure he doesn't go off. I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna try to get
That's
DK
what I was
off.
wondering.
DK obviously wants to have great, and he was phenomenal last week. I mean, with the run, yards after catch and stuff. So it's in Pittsburgh too. I know it's obviously his former team, but it's in Pittsburgh. So I think he can have a huge game.
So I'm looking at this from really not the DK Metcalf perspective. I'm looking at it more how Aaron Rodgers is going to fare against the Mike Macdonald defense. Mm-hmm. And it's weird because they scored 34 points and the offense looked awesome. Rodgers got hit a bunch in that game. And you know what I mean? Was sacked, I think, 4 times. And I think you saw, with his age now, the lack of any type of mobility. And I think Mike Macdonald, who now has some of the horses he needs defensively, probably not all of them, but that scheme was his biggest weapon in Baltimore and now in Seattle. I think they're going to try to heat Aaron up. And I don't know that Aaron's going to have the time to feed DK Metcalf. And that would be my concern in this game. If I'm the Steelers, as optimistic as I feel based on how many points we scored, I don't love that in week 1 of the season, Rodgers got hit as much as he did. Yeah. And I am going to try to, even if it makes our offense a little more vanilla or a little, less explosive, they're hoping he's got 20 weeks of a season in front of him. I'm going to try to make sure that I don't have Aaron Rodgers getting hit as much.
December 2021, he followed up a 4-touchdown, 0 interception game, which he just had, with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. So,
but he was league MVP that year.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. You have to go back. It's awesome performance. Yeah. Or maybe it's not. Maybe that Aaron Rodgers is back.
Really?
Who knows? Giants and Dallas, Sunday at 1 on Fox. Giants still looking to score a touchdown. Dallas looking for a win after a close showing against the champs. Nick, we'll start with you. We'll start with Brou because it's an A game.
What are you talking?
Sorry, what would an A game from Dallas prove to you, Brou?
It It would tell me that they should be in the playoff race. When you look at the NFC, and I thought they could win 9 games or so and be in it. I still would think they're the third best team in the division. I don't think they're better than Philly or Washington. But if you look at the NFC West, if San Francisco, if injuries take them out of the running, and then if the NFC North, as you alluded to earlier, isn't as good, and instead of getting 3 teams from there, you only get 2, like if Detroit really falls back, then they'd have a shot. And so, but if they lose this game, the season's darn near over. I mean, you won't feel that. They won't feel that way. But 0-2 with a tough schedule in a tough division, the season would darn near be over if they lose this game.
Yeah. I went back and forth with this one. In a game against the Giants, it would feel like we kind of pass it off to they played the Giants. So it would. But almost,
in a game, even if they blew them out, like
I understand
30
that.
to
I understand that, and I like I said, I went back and forth because I thought too, man, it was a great showing that we saw initially on Thursday night against the Eagles. And if they had an A game against the Giants, a lot of us will come and be like, well,
they played well both weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But there would be that caveat. It's the Giants. But how many games are the Giants going to win? For the Dallas Cowboys, though, it would be, man, we didn't expect that against the Eagles.
Right.
Now you follow up with that against the Giants, and we would start to look at. I don't know about a playoff spot, but
I
you would
think
think
that. Listen, I had
we
them
respect
finishing,
the Giants' defense.
Listen, I had the Cowboys finishing last in the division, and then they traded Micah Parsons. So I obviously didn't have high expectations for him, and I'm not going to, after 1 week, write off the Giants entirely because we thought they were going to change quarterbacks. You know what I mean? We thought the defense would, pass rush would be really good. After one game, it's too early to tell. But with that said, you're talking about adds the Giants. If you throw up the Cowboys' schedule and you look at it and just say, okay, if they play awesome against the Giants, we're going to feel like they can definitely beat the Bears.
Yeah.
They could beat the Jets. They can beat the Panthers. Right?
All of a sudden.
All of a sudden it's like, okay, what if you just beat the teams who, after that,
Denver,
whose quarterbacks
Arizona.
we don't fully believe in? You know what I mean? Like there's a path there to
it doesn't really get tough till
the right-hand column is brutal.
The right-hand
column is brutal. But you can get to the bye feeling like, all right, you know what I mean? We're in the mix or whatever. And if I am a Cowboys fan, I really like that the best player on my team was the guy who played the worst. Because I don't think that's going to happen. It's not fair to say CD played the worst.
No,
but you know what I mean?
But in the moments that he normally comes through.
And because I'm like, okay, that's not going to happen again.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It's not as if, oh man, the Eagles were leaving Tolbert wide open, and we played into it and he couldn't come through. Like, the guy the Eagles knew they needed to take away, they couldn't take away, and he had 100 yards, but he could have had 200 yards if he just makes plays he normally makes. And I also do think the point Coach made after the Micah trade, which is, listen, this is a big opportunity for Dak Prescott now, that if he comes out against this pass rush and plays great, it's like, all right, listen, we're not a Super Bowl contender, but we're going to be in the mix with me and CD. And I also liked, it feels so long ago now, and it was just a week ago, I liked how Schottenheimer's offense looked a little more creative than McCarthy's, and I thought that was an encouraging first game for him. So I think, and I agree with you, Brou, flip side is if they somehow play poorly, all of that is gone. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, you're just 0-2. But if they play great, I think you got to take them serious. Yeah.
Broncos-Colts, Sunday afternoon. 2 wins. One spectacular performance from Greg's guy, Daniel Jones. One good enough performance from Bo Nix. Here's how they fared. 4
Nix
total.
was terrible.
Well, 1 touchdown, 3 turnovers, not great. Passer rating at 60, where Daniel Jones was 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. Passer rating of 116.
The old 4 yards per pass.
Who, Daniel Jones?
No.
Oh, Bo.
No, Daniel Jones was chucking it deep, man. Almost 10 yards.
Who's more likely to repeat Week 1's performance, Nick?
Bo Nix. And that's not an insult on Daniel Jones. It is again, it's 1 week. I know it's 1 week. But the concern of Bo Nix hearing all offseason about how that team is a sleeper Super Bowl contender, but Sean Payton building him up as this is. I coached Drew Brees for 15 years. There are only 5 teams I believed could win the Super Bowl. This is my 6th team that can win the Super Bowl. That Bo Nix was going to play a little outside of himself, and that's what happened. And it's not that Bo Nix doesn't have a strong arm. He does have he threw the ball downfield fine last year, but he took chances in that game that he had no business taking. And if they did everything they could to lose that game, but they just had Brian Callahan on the other side doing everything he could to lose that game. And I would be very nervous if I were the Broncos going into this game with a Colts team that feels great and whose defense was excellent last week, looking at this Bo Nix film and saying, he's going to give us some opportunities. And so I think Bo Nix will struggle again this week. Doesn't necessarily mean they'll lose. They won last week, but I think he'll struggle again this week.
Go ahead. We know your answer, but
we want to hear it.
Go ahead and gloat.
I would gloat, but I'm going to be honest. Because Daniel Jones is going up against a really good defense in the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
So I'm with Nick.
Thank you. He can't
say
Daniel Jones is going to have a perfect game.
I do believe it would be Bo Nix to kind of repeat this. I don't know about the turnovers, but just not doing enough to where they get it done. Daniel Jones he's locked in, guys, but I'm not expecting him to do that every single week.
Why are we doing it?
We can be disappointed.
Yeah,
that's fine.
Just got to be honest. This guy just thinks you're a bar jukebox.
He's sitting here saying Jalen Hurts is going to be the best quarterback on earth. I don't agree,
Super Bowl champion.
but I respect it. I respect you saying that. If he wins Sunday, he's the best quarterback on earth. At least you're in on your take. Greg is like, this is the time to be like, my man.
Greg is giving analysis.
Now you got a problem with me, and you want me to jump on Daniel Jones.
I'm just saying, man, this is the time. That you could champion your man.
Yeah, but Greg is rightfully concerned about Nick Bonito coming off the edge, hitting Daniel Jones.
But Daniel Jones can't move?
This is what I.
One thing he can do is move.
This is why I express the relationship. Daniel, you know our relationship. Not everybody else knows it. We don't exactly. I don't have to pump him up just because you guys think that's all I want to do.
You got to give him a little bit, though.
I believe
it. You know what? I see zip.
No, he just said all he said was Nix is more likely to be bad than Jones is to be perfect. It's the right answer.
You could bake it in. Like I could see, it was a historic game last week. I expect him to be this and that.
Like it's possible, but I mean, none of that. No qualifiers, nothing.
It was just like Bo Nix.
Like Jones wasn't even
I'm honest. DJ, you got our work cut out for you. This is a good defense.
Oh my gosh.
He's no longer a Daniel.
No.
Okay. I want you to remember that.
I thought you loved it.
But it's a big spot. I know, but it's a big spot. It's like on a Monopoly board.
You think that I care about that? Golly.
Optimism isn't sunshine and rainbows. It's fixing things, changing the way we fix things. It's running the world on smarter energy. Because if optimism never stops, then change can't either. GE Vernova, the energy of change.
Hey, welcome back to First Things First. Commanders Packers tonight. Jordan Love and Jayden Daniels tied for third best MVP odds behind Lamar and Josh, which brings us to our first edition of Brou's Ballot, official NBA awards voter, unofficial NFL voter, but the passion and analysis just the same. Brou, your introductory NFL MVP.
I'm going to be quick on this so you guys can comment, but I think you'll love the list. At 8, we got Baker.
Love it.
Now, only 53% completion, as I said, but 3 touchdowns.
And clutch.
Yeah, clutch, late, 25-yard touchdown pass in the last minute to win the game. On the road, division opponent in Atlanta. All right, number 4, J-Lo. I get it. He did have a couple passes that could have been picked, but they weren't. Yep. And so he had a perfect game against a very good team in Detroit. Number 3, Jalen Hurts, right? 2 touchdown runs, big game from him. Didn't get anything from his receivers, so he's there. Number 2, Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Maybe, as Nick said, the best game of his career in a big win over the Chiefs. And then number 1, Josh Allen was just so spectacular in that comeback win. In the last, 4 minutes, a touchdown run and a touchdown pass to beat the Ravens.
So since it's week 1, are you basically disqualifying people on teams that lost? Like, for
now, yeah. And one reason I didn't have Daniel Jones is just because I don't think it's going to continue. Like, it's a tapestry.
No, of course. No, the reason I asked
You think Mahomes?
No. I would have said Derrick Henry.
Oh, Derrick Henry.
Well,
I thought Derrick Henry was
lose the game.
No. That's fair.
But he was fantastic
but
at the fumble.
The only, I think your 1-2 is exactly what I would have. I would probably flip-flop. I would jump Baker to 3, and then Hurts 4, Love 5. You know, Baker without Wirfs. Obviously no Godwin. Abuka was awesome, but the trust of the rookie, and that was arguably the biggest game on the Bucs' schedule. Just in that, because it's the road game against the only team that could challenge them for the division. So you know what I mean? It was such a huge spot for them there. Go ahead, KW.
No, I would have Jalen Hurts probably at 2. I think Herbert got
Really?
Yeah, just because
Herbert?
I just felt like
such a great game
against the Chiefs.
Exactly. I think he gets the Mahomes bounce. Beat Mahomes.
No, but that's real. That's not just like make believe.
Well, now Jalen Hurts has a chance at the Mahomes bounce.
Well, yeah, but he could. Well, this is the week 1, not the week 2.
If Hurts goes out and does what Justin Herbert did,
yeah, that would be.
He'll get a bounce.
I'm trying to think just quick because I didn't know what your list was going to be. Anyone that other than Daniel Jones, whose fans are right now. Oh, I'll tell you one. Honestly, who probably has a real argument to be on there. Aaron.
No, I thought about Aaron.
You know what I mean? But 4 touchdowns that game.
He was under consideration.
Yeah,
he should probably be on there.
But they could have lost that game if not for
But because of the defense. And you know who else obviously has an argument to be on there, but Brou never would do it. Brou's comatose on him. Gino.
Yeah,
Gino
played.
Standing and delivering.
Consideration too.
Yeah, there we go.
But only one touchdown.
OT coming up in 3 short minutes. Live from New York. It's a show that is going to buy a page turner at the airport.
Yeah.
Action-packed page turner.
Also,
no literature
new
for
audience,
me anymore.
5 o'clock. You need to issue your retraction one more time.
We are flying to Kansas City today. That's why I'm buying a page turner at the airport. Yeah. And yesterday, I made a mistake.
Thank you.
What happened? Yesterday, I said that Nick, who asks the flight attendants if he can sit next to me on the airport.
I do that.
I said that he took his socks off and was sitting there barefoot.
Thank you.
On the airplane. He didn't.
He
took his sneakers off and he had a dirty pair.
I did not have a dirty pair of socks.
White Nikes.
They were white Nikes.
Crew socks,
but
with gray bottoms.
That's
little fuzzy things from the airport, from the security line.
Little crumbs.
That's not true.
That might be
he was asleep, and we were in the front row, so he had his feet up like this, and I had to look at him.
Again, that part's now you're lying
and
again.
Socks. It was gross. Third hour, first things
worse
first.
Than the bare feet. I don't know.
Today, would you rather have Jayden or Jordan Love?
To you.
They face off tonight, and they were almost atop of Brou's MVP list. Meanwhile, is it panic time if the Chiefs start 0-2? Maybe. But right now, we're headed to Arrowhead. Sunday at 4 on Fox, Nick Sirianni, last time he was in Arrowhead, had some choice words for the Kansas City faithful. He's a little bit more respectful in the press conferences with the media. Take a listen.
When you go there, it's always a challenge with the noise. It's a loud stadium. Their fans get rowdy, and it will be a great atmosphere. And I know they're ready for that because of all the primetime games and big playoff games that they've played in. And us, we feel the same way, that we'll be ready for it.
Okay. Mahomes is a 1.5-point underdog at home. Is this disrespectful?
It's wildly, wildly insulting. And it's irrational. And there has been such a massive, and now market included, overreaction to 2 games. Because these teams played on a neutral field 2 games ago, and I think that was a better Eagles team just because of the losses they had defensively, and the Chiefs were a favorite. And now we're in a spot where Patrick, for the second time in his career, is an underdog, at home, I should say. Mm-hmm. And you might say, like, what's the precedent for it? From 2005 until Tom Brady's last game with New England, 14 years, he was an underdog twice, and they were both against Peyton's Broncos that were this, juggernaut regular season team.
Now, Peyton 2.0.
And so he went from 2005 until 2013, an 8-year stretch, without ever once being a home dog.
Wild.
Right. And with respect to Brady's run with the Pats, a huge portion of that, they were not the multi-time defending conference champions. You know what I mean? They had some not down years, but they, you know what I mean? They were
good teams.
Yeah, normal good years. And so I think that we are acting like the Chiefs aren't in the midst of this run of 7 straight conference title games, of 5 Super Bowls in 6 years. They're acting as if that run ended in the Super Bowl and that we're now to a different phase of the team, and I just don't feel like that's the case.
But they're not a home underdog to Buffalo. They're a home underdog to the team that blew them out on the neutral field. And they lost last week. Like, listen, I can't imagine what it's like to be a fan of this team. Like, this is Patrick Mahomes' 70th game at Arrowhead on Sunday, and it's his 2nd time being an underdog. Like, I can't imagine rooting for a team that for 8 years you've seen him be an underdog at home twice. But you said also, like, it was a market reaction. The Chiefs opened as a favorite, which means, not to get too in the weeds on the gambling, but that means, like, the money has come in on Philly.
Yeah, because people are wrong. Like,
sure, the sharp action that comes in early in the week is often wrong. Sure, that can be true, but this isn't like the opening line was disrespectful. It was Chiefs 1.5-point favorite, and then it got bet to the Eagles.
But
that's different than the market opening it as the Chiefs as a dog.
To me is actually worse. Because if the market opened, if it started the Chiefs as a dog, then it's all about the Super Bowl. But it's not, right? It's not all about the Super Bowl.
It's a little Chargers game,
but
they lost.
And a little Xavier Worthy.
The Worthy piece, I don't know how much he really moves the line. But
Jalen Carter not being suspended.
But again, it's not like when the market opened, they thought Jalen Carter was going to be suspended. Like they was
sure.
But it is to me also and this is not. Here's the only reason I bring this part of it up, Brou. Because I think that if the Eagles played the way they did week 1 and the Chiefs played the way they did week 1 and their opponents were reversed, it'd be 1-0, 0-1 the opposite way. I'm not making – the only reason I'm saying that is because for everyone to react to how the Chiefs looked in week 1 as if the Eagles looked awesome in week 1 when I don't think any of us think they did. I think Jalen Hurts looked awesome in week 1. I don't think any other noteworthy player on the Eagles feels great about their game. Like, I think Jalen Hurts, you know what I mean, does, and then the defense doesn't. Obviously, the wide receivers don't. Saquon was slowed down for the first time other than the Super Bowl in a very long time. Like, the Eagles didn't have the game the Packers did in week 1 where one team played poorly and the Chiefs and the Eagles played great. So that to me adds to the point.
Yeah, I don't think it's disrespectful at all. I mean, as Danny said, the Eagles blasted the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Like, you're talking about it, 2 games. Like they were just 2 close losses. Like, they got destroyed, all right? And the Eagles have beaten them 2 straight times, once in Kansas City. So, and the Eagles, you're right, defensively they lost some guys. They didn't look fantastic in that game against Dallas, but they didn't look fantastic in every playoff game last year either. We know they all could have lost to the Rams, and they still came out and punched the Chiefs in the face and just rolled over them. So I think it's more a response to that. And then I do agree with Wilds. Not having Xavier Worthy, I think, is a factor. Certainly a factor, them losing to the Chargers. Like, had they beaten the Chargers and just they were flat out outplayed. It wasn't like it could have went either way.
Right, the Chargers were the better team.
They were outplayed, gave up a ton of passing yards. So I think all of that factors in. And again, I get it. They're underdogs. It's 1.5 points. But I don't think it's disrespectful at all.
Well, the other thing, it has historically been a very profitable opportunity when Mahomes has been an underdog.
Yeah.
At any point, like home or away. So this will be his 135th total game. His 16th time an underdog anywhere. That is, as someone who's gambled on football since I was 16 years old, insanity. Like 16 times in 8 years, including playoff games, AFC championships, and Super Bowls, he's been an underdog, and he's 12-2-1 against the spread. So I get why you'd have confidence backing him as an underdog in this spot. But to this team, without Worthy, with Jalen Carter, given that we recently saw them match up, I don't think the line itself is disrespectful, but I get why you'd back Mahomes.
The point, I guess here's the point I'm making. I think that we are putting more stock into the Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl than we will put into the first Eagles-Commanders game. I don't like they blasted the Commanders too. They scored 55 points in that game.
I think you're 100% right.
And I think that because
New Year.
Right, and so that's the part of it
but
that
you
I
don't
think
the Eagles are going to be a big favorite against the Commanders?
No, I do.
They definitely will be.
No, I do, but I think that because people believe the Eagles are a better team than the Commanders, like they're the point I'm making is the analysis about Eagles-Commanders won't be so heavily leaning on them blowing them out in the playoff game.
I believe that.
And so that part is what feels to me to be, you know what I mean, a little askew here, and the point, you're right, Brou, they obviously got annihilated in the Super Bowl, and you're right, they didn't look good on Friday night. My frustration is, and the reason I bring up the Patriots is, I thought they had earned a benefit of the doubt. And the Patriots, if we remember it, they did not always look amazing. There was the year they started the year off getting blasted by the Chiefs pre-Mahomes. You know what I mean? The Alex Smith game. They weren't all of a sudden home dogs then. You know what I mean? They went 15 years, and it took a top 5 quarterback of all time in Peyton Manning coming into their building for them to ever be underdogs. And so that's the part of it that to me is askew.
It does feel like a big game, which I'm excited for. When we were preparing for Ravens Bills, we kind of had a meeting where it's like, both of these teams' narrative is based around playoff success. But at the same time, we don't want to have every conversation kick all the way down to January. That game happened, and it did feel like we went into it being like, this is a fun game to watch these two teams go at it, and maybe who can have home field advantage. But it turned out to be a referendum on the Ravens.
Yes.
Do you think that is on the board now for the Chiefs? That, hey, this is a cool Super Bowl rematch, but here's a tweet I have from Elliot Shore Parks, who works in Philadelphia. The Eagles have a chance to essentially kill off the Chiefs' mystique this weekend. Like, do you think this is going to be not just a game, that this will be a referendum game and everything you're kind of worried about might come true?
If the Chiefs get blown out and they are 0-2 and they've lost 3 straight for the first time since Mahomes has been there, I think other teams will think blood in the water. Like, we can get them. They might be wrong, but Nick, the Chiefs also they won 15 games last year, but they weren't 15-2 against the spread. They played a lot of close games. Like they underperformed.
They didn't look great.
But they underperformed expectations. Like, this is a question about the spread. They underperformed relative to the spread.
Okay, this is again where I think maybe my very sharp memory for Chiefs-related topics we've done is, maybe a curse at times.
I love when you compliment your own memory.
It's really, I don't have a great memory, but about this stuff I do. We have talked about vulnerable or mystique being gone from the Chiefs, not you, Brou, but totality, at various times over the last 4 years. They get blown out by Tampa Bay. They then early in that year get beat by 2 scores by Buffalo and Tennessee. They're 3-4. Nobody's afraid of the Chiefs. The drops year, it was, you know what I mean? Nobody's, the narrative that year was, people are more afraid to play the Browns in round 1 of the playoffs with that defense than Kansas City. Nobody's afraid of them. And last year, it was, you're seeing it. Like, nobody thinks the Chiefs are, look at these. We keep saying it. Now, and so the idea that if they win this game, no one's going to say, all right, the aura's back. All right, we're scared. Like there,
it might be.
No,
this might be an aura matchup.
And so I just all believe that the Chiefs' aura is gone when opposing coaches treat them like a normal team and how they call the game, as opposed to the different things we've seen from coaches or quarterbacks either tightening or different game management decisions based on we're terrified of that guy getting the ball.
Well, look, a few things quickly on that. One, the Chiefs can lose their mystique, and I know they're obviously related, but Mahomes, teams will still not want to give Mahomes the ball at the end of the game. So I think people can feel like they can beat the Chiefs, but not want to give Mahomes the game, the ball with a chance to win at the end. And also some of the things you talked about in the past where we talked about this conversation being had before. Some of those times, Travis Kelce was still in his prime, and he obviously didn't look great in week one. He had a nice catch for a touchdown. And Tyreek Hill was there for some of it. I know he wasn't there, the last year they won the Super Bowl. But, he was there for some of it as well. And now not only do they not have Tyreek Hill, they don't have Xavier Worthy
But that was another one. Once they traded Tyreek Hill. Like people, another time when people were like, we're not going to be as afraid. And so I think it's just too quick.
We'll give our official predictions on Friday. I might change mine.
And
I haven't even made it. That's a good point. I haven't made it. But I might change it privately. Commanders-Packers tonight in Lambeau. You can double screen this alongside the What's Right podcast. It's good. Thanks, double promotion. Two MVP candidates facing off according to Brou and our friends in Vegas. Here's Jayden on Jordan Love. Take a listen.
Both SoCal quarterbacks, so that kind of thing runs with that route. But for us, man, I was just actually working out with him this past off season. We're lifting together, getting after. So we already said we'll see each other week 2. But I'm super happy for him, everything that he's done and he accomplished.
Danny, who would you rather have in tonight's game?
Jayden Daniels. I don't think this one is particularly tough. Jordan Love is really streaky and at times inconsistent. Jayden Daniels has just been consistently great since he's been in the NFL. We'll see if that changes, but week 1 it didn't look like he was about to have a sophomore slump, but he's got 18 regular season games plus a playoff run last year of being really good. Jordan Love has stretches where he looks like an MVP and has stretches where he throws the ball to the other team. And I don't have these all memorized, so I got to look at it, but his first 9 games of 2023, this being Jordan Love, he had 10 interceptions in those 9 games. Then in his next 9 games, this ended with the playoff win against the Cowboys, he went 21 touchdowns and 1 pick. Yeah. Looked like the MVP of the league. Then his next 9 games, starting with that playoff loss to the Niners, he had 13 interceptions over those 9 games. Then he goes 9 touchdowns, no interceptions. He goes back and forth between he's the MVP of the league, he turns the ball over in bunches. And even last week, the numbers were great. He didn't really need to do much in the second half, but he easily could have thrown a couple of interceptions. Jayden Daniels has not shown any of that. So if you get good Jordan Love, he can be great. But I've never seen bad Jayden Daniels.
Yeah.
No, look, I obviously I rock with Jordan Love. He's my preseason pick for MVP. But I agree. I think Daniels is better, number one. I think he's a better quarterback. He doesn't have, you don't worry as much about the interceptions as you do with Jordan Love. But also for this game in particular, if Micah, who obviously is their main pass rush with the Packers, if he's not disciplined in his pass rush, that can open things up, like we saw with Chris Jones against the Chargers last play of the game. If you just don't, you don't have lane integrity, not to get too deep into it, but that opened things up for Justin Herbert. So if Micah's not disciplined, that can open up several rushing opportunities for Jayden, in addition to his passing, that could turn the game.
So, but the flip side to that is the Commanders don't have anybody that we're worried about wrecking the game for. Again, they don't have Micah Parsons. Let me put it like that. And so I agree with. Sounds like what both of you guys are saying is Jayden's the better player. I tend to agree with that. Tonight, I expect Jordan to have the better game. I think the Packers. I was wildly impressed by the Packers' Game 1 defense. And the fact, and the extra, just like a baseball team that trades for an ace, and now all of a sudden their ace just has to be a good number 2. And their number 2, like the knockdown effect of their other pass rushers, that allowed for Rashawn Gary as your top pass rusher. It's, okay, Rashawn Gary is your second best pass rusher. That's a fearsome combo. And so I just think that Jayden is going to really have his hands full with the Jeff Hafley defense now that they have that added pass rush, with Micah being more entrenched in it. You know what I mean? Every day now he gets a little bit better as a Packer, probably for the next 3 or 4 weeks until he gets it all down. So I think Jayden's a better player. I think Jayden could struggle. I think Jayden could have some tough moments tonight because I think the Packers defense could be really good. And I don't know if the Commanders defense is what we saw week 1, or if that was about Russell Wilson. Right. It's totally over for you, buddy. And so that's.
But you don't think that applies to our worries about Detroit?
I know Detroit's not awful. You know what I mean? It's possible Giants are just flat awful on offense. You know what I mean? Detroit might have some growing pains, but they still have Gibbs. They still have St. Brown and Laporta. They still have
just
super
a rusty game,
players.
maybe.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting tomorrow morning. And if we're like, you know what? Let's pump the brakes a little bit on the Packers.
Maybe.
We're just going nuts. But let's see. Oh, coming up, Frenemies.
Yeah,
one of my favorite segments.
Thanks.
Can't wait.
Are you renaming that one too?
No, that's a good one. It's not me, it's the computers.
Hey, every week at this time, we're going to do Frenemies. Danny, Nick, friends, talking sports, nearly 20 years. Now we do it on television.
It has been 20 years, by the way. I realized that. We met 20 years ago. Yeah,
wow.
2005, 20 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
One day you'll be right. One day you'll win one of these arguments.
One day you'll admit to being wrong.
Sure.
It will be an absolutely glorious day. Well, we're getting ready to fly to Kansas City. So after your 0% went so well last week, we figured we'd talk a little bit more Chiefs.
Oh, so you've had one. The last one of these was your one.
Yeah, exactly. We saw physicality from Patrick in the Chiefs' loss against the Chargers last week, but when asked about taking risks, being bolder, Mahomes kind of weighed in on the topic. Here, take a listen.
Can't be too much one way or another, and so finding that right balance of attacking downfield but still keeping the chains moving and not putting the ball in harmful situations is something that's important to every quarterback. And so I think at the end of last year, at certain points, I wasn't taking those chances that I could have, and so I try to do better at that going into this season. They'll be important this week as much as any because they have good players everywhere on that defense, and so it's about accepting that challenge and going out there and executing at a high level.
So we'll be in Kansas City at Power and Light. Come out and see us. But the Eagles are favored, like we just talked about, Nick. If your Chiefs fall to 0-2, panic time?
No, and actually, I think psychologically speaking, a loss is more damaging for Philadelphia than Kansas City. Because the answer for that is threefold. One is, I think nothing is going to shake the Chiefs' confidence. Another one is, I think that not that the Chiefs need a built-in excuse, but I think if the Eagles lose to a team without its top 2 receivers after the defense looked shaky the first time around, it would be reason for concern. But third, and maybe most importantly, the teams we expect to be somewhere from good to excellent in the AFC, all of them to varying degrees disappointed a bit in week 1 except for the Chargers. The Bills and Ravens defenses looked a mess. The Bengals looked a mess on both sides. The Chiefs didn't look good. The opposite's kind of true in the NFC. In the NFC, the Washington looked better, Green Bay, Tampa, the Rams all looked better than expected. Only Detroit kind of underachieved. So I think after an underwhelming week 1 for Philly, if they then lose in a game they're favored against a wounded and I guess vulnerable Chiefs team, it stymies the momentum they have.
I have a hard time imagining the Super Bowl champs losing confidence over a regular season loss in week 2, but I understand your point about the Chiefs being wounded. Would you agree that the Chiefs have entered a stratosphere that very few teams in pro sports get to, which is the only real way it's a successful season is if they're hoisting the trophy at the end?
I mean, yeah, you're just saying in 100 words what Brou coined in 4 letters. They're SBOB.
They're SBOB.
They're the definition of SBOB, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we all know the data of 0-2 teams making the playoffs, and we know that that's changed a little bit in the 17-game schedule. We're expecting more 0-2 starts to bounce back and make the playoffs. But making the playoffs isn't the goal. If we can show the graphic here, since 2020, since it's been expanded, teams to start 0-2 have never made it to the Super Bowl, and it hasn't happened in nearly 20 years, as long as our friendship, going back to the 07 Giants. So they would just be faced with, sure, could they make the playoffs? Yes. But if they lose to the Chargers, who they've owned, and then they lose to the Eagles in back-to-back, and it's 3 straight, I think there will be enough tides against them that I know you won't panic outwardly, but inside, you'll be a little uncomfortable.
There are things about in this game that can be greatly concerning in a win or a loss. If they once again can generate no pass rush, sure, and if once again the secondary looks totally out of sorts,
like if Jalen Hurts has a Justin Herbert game against the Chiefs,
that will even if they win, let's just say Mahomes
35-30,
right? That will concern me because I know they're going to have to beat Josh in the playoffs or Justin again in the playoffs. But I won't worry about 0-2. And the Cowboys were 0-2 and won the Super Bowl. Emmitt Smith came back.
That's right. Yeah. You ready for Kansas City to come out?
Oh, yeah.
See their favorite son?
Light. Yeah.
Bring your first things first signs.
Yeah, it'll be great.
Knicks, maybe buying beers. Who knows? We'll see you live from KC.